Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? This is Amanda Ellis. A very warm welcome to my channel. What is today's date? It's February the 12th, 2024, but this video probably won't go up online until tomorrow, the 13th. But I'm doing it really because we do have Valentine's Day this week. And so a look at love, I think, is very overdue. And I, from time to time, do like to look at the twin flame collective energy, see what's going on. I do have a playlist of previous videos that I've done on the twin flame collective. I will link that below, and you can literally dip into any of them. You can join the journey at any point, because my twin flame videos tend to have sort of a narrative that's running through all of them. And I come on when I feel as though there's something particularly new to say, or there is a particularly rare alignment happening in the skies that probably has to impact things at some level. And that's certainly true this week. Because, let's just get settled down. If you don't know, this Valentine's Day, there is a pretty rare conjunction between Mars and Pluto. Steve Judd talks about the fact that it hasn't happened for 140 years. So I'll take his word for that because he is an astrologer. I am not. But yeah, his video on Sunday, not about twin flame, but just about this Mars-Pluto conjunction on Valentine's Day, got me thinking. And that's why I really want to just take a deep dive look into this. It also feels, I'm now realizing, that some of the signs that I've been getting for the past week, and in particular, the obsession with one particular song, is because, which came from nowhere, and it's not an artist I've ever really listened to at all, I'll tell you who it is in a moment, is because Metatron, my guides, want me to talk about one aspect of the shadow underbelly, which Pluto is revealing this week with regards to the twin flame journey, which is obsession. Obsession. Now, obsession, which would link, I guess, to the devil card, is always unhealthy, is always toxic. So it's not something that anyone's going to put their hand up and say, I'm obsessed. But the twin flame path can often include periods or episodes which have the characteristics, certainly, of an obsessive episode, is what Metatron is saying. I'll tell you what the song is, because it leads us nicely into it. In fact, this song just kept appearing on my YouTube feed. And because I channel dead celebrities, basically, I thought, oh, I didn't realise she'd died. She'd be interesting to do. And then I realised she hasn't died. Liza Minnelli is who I'm talking about. So Liza Minnelli's song, it's not her song, it's one that she covered, but I like her version of it. Losing My Mind by Liza Minnelli just kept coming up. And as I said, I had to check whether she's still alive. She is. So hi, Lisa, if you ever see this video. I'm going to read you the lyrics to it. And it goes something like this. I wish I could play it because I don't know why YouTube won't let us have fun like that anymore. But anyway, you can go and listen to the song yourself. These are the lyrics. The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. I want you so, it's like I'm losing my mind. The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore, the thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you, spend sleepless nights to think about you. You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? How many people, if you're honest, on a true twin flame path, have had moments where you think, am I losing my mind? Am I nuts? Am I going crazy? None of this makes sense. It particularly makes absolutely zero sense to people that don't even understand what the twin flame path is, who probably would tell you, you are nuts, you are losing your mind. But you're not. But it is a shadow aspect of the journey, and it's one that we need to understand. And I definitely feel with all this Pluto energy bringing up the underbelly, and Pluto is about obsession and secrets, it's time to talk about it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. There was another song as well, which is just called Obsession. I can't remember who did that. Let's just have a little look at that as well, whilst we're on the subject. I think it was a good old 80s song, you know, my musical references. It was by Animotion. Yeah, that was a good song as well. The lyrics to that go something like, you are an obsession, I cannot sleep, I am a possession, unopened at your feet, there's no balance, no equality, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, it's all that energy. So, because ultimately, of course, the twin flame path should be one of balance and harmony. So anything that is heightened and is disjointed and fragmented is not good for you. It's not good for your divine counterpart, that noise is, and it's not going to help the path. So, yeah, I'll pull some cards. We'll see what's going on. But there's also an Egyptian god stepping forward, okay? Now, it's interesting as well because Liza Minnelli, she always used to have, I don't know whether she still does, she always used to have beautifully painted eyes, you know, dark coal eyes, underneath. I've never been able to do underneath my eyes. I always just end up looking terrible. But anyway, she mastered the art of beautiful, I would say, Egyptian eye makeup. I think Liza Minnelli has got an Egyptian past life for sure. But this Egyptian god is Anubis, okay, who is known as the god of the underworld, the god of the dead, but also is very linked into protection as well. And Anubis, one of the things about Anubis is he's also to do with what they believed was the process of mummification. So if you think about mummification and you think about the state of your connection, maybe whether you're with them or whether you are separated from your twin flame, think about the process of mummification. When something is mummified, you literally can't move, okay? It's like your hands are strapped down, your breasts are strapped down, your belly's strapped down, you can't see out, you can't speak, you can't hear, you are mummified, basically. I'm also being shown by Metatron a chrysalis, you know, which the larvae goes in, and then, of course, it breaks out of the chrysalis and becomes the butterfly. Well, of course, we think of mummies in terms of, well, you're dead, there's nothing in there. But in terms of the twin flame journey, I feel as though there's been a process of mummification, maybe for our own protection. What this basically means is that the bandages are coming off, okay? Or whatever they make a mummy out of. I'm just seeing this mummy energy starting to unwind, okay? And what's inside of the mummy is the kernel, I'm hearing, the kernel, the raw heart of the connection itself, which is alive and well and pulsing. Now, so it's a positive sign, okay? The mummy bandages are coming off. But I realise what I'm saying, guys, okay? So Anubis has led me to rebirth, which is what he's about. So it's an indication that there's a rebirth moment coming up. And yes, we've got Mars conjunct Pluto. Mars is the fire, it's power, it's direction, it's motivation. Pluto is, you know, explosive revelations, regeneration. You know, the combination of all of this and Anubis is very powerful. So the bandages are coming off the mummy, but I'm realizing also the mummy, mother, the wounding from mother. It feels as though both divine feminine and divine masculine, to a degree, and obviously this is going to not be general for everybody, but I do think there's something in what I'm saying here. I feel as though there are mother wounds that have been looked at, healed, or are in the process of being healed. And it feels as though each counterpart is trying to soothe the other counterpart with regards to the mother wound. And it may very well be, of course, there are mirrored mother wounds within the connection. I'm sure that's very likely because, of course, the twin flame journey is all about mirroring. But there's also something here about the healed mother, which is that when we've healed our mother wounds, we learn how to mother ourselves. We're not looking for a mother in a partner, whether you're feminine, whether you're masculine, whatever you are. You're not looking for somebody to mother you. You're not looking for somebody to sort of like, there, it's all okay. You've grown up, okay? You've grown up. You're looking for a mature, and you're not just looking for, you're ready for the mature, healed version of self. It's like really having left kindergarten, really having left middle school, really having left senior school, really having graduated, really having moved out. It's that type of energy. So there's definitely an energy of the divine feminine and the divine masculine having grown up to a degree that feels as though has been happening and has been maturing whilst in this mummified state. So anyway, we've got Anubis. Anubis is here protecting this connection that has felt dead in the waters, basically. Again, going back to, am I losing my mind? Everybody else would look at this and just say, there's no life there. That is totally dead. What on earth are you going on about? You know, what are you still thinking about that person for? That died years ago, decades ago. But you know that it can spring back into life when it's meant to spring back into life. I'm not saying it's going to happen necessarily this week, but I'm saying that this conjunction is definitely ripping off the bandages. Okay. Right, let's have a look then. And I'm going to use some quite challenging decks today because we're dealing with Pluto, and Pluto wants to get to the bottom of what really is going on and reveal the underbelly. So the first one I'm going to pull is from the Dark Mirror deck by Laura Sava. I'll link all the decks below. I am having trouble with my camera at the moment, focusing on cards, so I'm going to hold them quite close to me. If you can't see them, I'm sorry, I'm trying my best, but it's more about what I'm saying anyway. But if you can't see, apologies. Right, let's start with the Divine Masculine. So show me the energy of the Divine Masculine. We have Black Flower Fragrance, card number 16. Black Flower Fragrance. And I'm going to go straight to the book and see what it says. Okay, here we go. Black Flower Fragrance. So it shows a woman with a whole load of black petals, basically, at her heart. It says it says the world is unfair. F off, dear world. F you. I'm not going to swear on my channel. I never have and I never will. Not the bigger words anyway. And also I don't want to get a rap on the knuckles from the powers that were. But anyway, it's that FU base. It's the FU energy from the Divine Masculine. It says, love is not a white dove, nor it turns people into angels. Love can be ugly. Love can be cheap. Love can be rotten. But even ugly love has a right to exist. Even cheap love can rise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Even a black rose by any other name should still smell as sweet. Even if you are wrong, you still have the right to be angry. Even if you're not perfect, you have the right to be respected. Even if you are stupid, you have the right to be listened to. Even if you are lucky, you have the right to complain. Even if you are rich, you have the right to be sad. If you cannot shine because you are beautiful, then shine even if you are ugly. Shine because you are ugly, gorgeously black, ugly as love, worn out as an angel, cheap as a crown, unconquered as a fragrance in the night. So if you haven't guessed, this is all about anger. The divine masculine, and we have Mars in Pluto. Mars is the planet of war. Mars is the planet of anger. There's a lot of anger coming up from the divine masculine, and it may very well be directed towards the divine feminine. And you might say, well, that sounds a bit strange because surely this is a path for unconditional love. We've also got I won't cry for you on the bottom of the deck. But it's really anger, which is just displaced sadness, deep, deep sadness. It's a pretense that you don't really matter to me. I can do without you. F you, F you. I don't need you. I don't want you. Keep telling yourself that because of course you do. But it's deep, deep anger. Maybe deep, deep, deep anger in terms of what they can't have. Through their own doing, through your doing. I have no idea what your story is. Remember, this is shadow wounds, and shadow wounds are usually ugly. It's not all, sweetness and light. So there's definitely, the thing about, and I realise now why Anubis is here, because this feels like death energy. This is just like, F you, I don't want to ever see you again. I don't want to ever know you again. I don't love you. I don't care for you. I don't want you. Who the hell are you to me? It's that type of energy. And it's because the true essence of what they feel is actually the total opposite. But it's too painful to go there. It's too difficult to confront that. Because if they confront that, they have to change something about their own life. And they don't want to do it. So we get Mars conjuncting Pluto, creating pretty much a nuclear explosion within their mind, losing my mind. Am I losing my mind? It's the irritation of not being able to escape from the feelings that are consuming them, from the yearning, from the wanting, all of that. So that's where they're at. Okay. We will pull other cards on it, but, I said I wanted to look at the shadow, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. Let's have a look at where the divine feminine is then in relation to all of this. Let's pull from the same deck, dark mirror cards. Because even, the words black flower fragrance, it's as though I don't even like this. I don't want the smell of you. I don't want the reminder of you. Think about death. Okay, so when somebody dies, often, I said this in one of my last videos, of course, you love the smell of their clothes, or a smell of them, brings back a beautiful memory. This is like, I don't even want that. I don't want any memory, any sensory memory of what you were to me, because I just can't go to the next level that you require from me. Because I know what you maybe require from me, but I can't go there because I can't get past this. Remember, Mars is conjuncting Pluto to bring all this up, to smash through this. So I'm sure they can, and they will. This is just what's going on right now. Let's have a look at the divine feminine in response to this, or how she's just feeling. How is she feeling? The divine feminine energy, please. The shadow aspect of the divine feminine at this time towards her counterpart energy, the divine feminine energy, shadow. We have the temple of my body. She's put up big, strong boundaries that you will not touch, that you will not have this, that my body is my temple, that I am sacred. I am the divine feminine energy. I'm the goddess. You can't come here and muck me about. You can't touch me. This enrages this energy. Now, remember, this can also be subtle. This can be subtle. So it doesn't have to be as extreme as what I am saying. I'll put another card for in a moment. But remember, there are different layers to it. So it could be that you're in a relationship with your twin flame, but there has been a bit of there's a barrier, or there's an increasing barrier to intimacy, for example, or not being able to be as intimate as you'd like to be. And it's like this energy with the divine feminine is a bit of a pulling away. And it's probably that she's pulling away in this card here, it feels like she's pulling away because she can feel this anger, this unpleasant shadow that's arising out of the divine masculine at the moment, and she's wanting no part of it. So the temple of my body, I'm just hearing you shall not touch. Let's see what goes with that. I'm hearing my body is all that I have. So this is very, this feels very biblical, actually. It feels very, going back to old biblical stories of the sacredness of the divine feminine vessel, basically, and the fact that there's the sanctity and holiness here. And she really feels like she's fighting her corner here, because it feels as though the divine feminine has been able to raise her game, raise her vibration. She knows what she will accept and what she will not accept. And she won't settle anymore for any lower vibrational stuff, particularly linked into sexuality and intimacy. Okay. It can also be that the divine feminine is working on her body at this time. And of course, the body is what houses your soul. Yeah, look, it's exactly that. This card says naked before the stars. And we have the temple of my body. So this is get the words right. This shows a lady, and she's dressed up rather seductively, and it's almost sort of feels quite voyeuristic, actually. It's as though this divine masculine is watching on in a voyeuristic type way, knowing that he can see but he can't touch, and it's driving him wild, basically. But it's a rage. It's a rage. What a mess this is. Okay. But remember, this is just this week. Okay. This is this conjunction that's bringing all this up. Naked before the stars as well. This girl, she almost feels like she's, I don't know, behind some window being looked at. It's voyeuristic. It feels as though this is also the online world. Okay. A few decades ago, pre-internet, if you were, you broke up from somebody, maybe, whether they were a twin flame or they weren't a twin flame, you would never see them again. You'd never see a picture of them again. You'd never hear their voice again. It's a whole different world now. So social media allows the counterparts to be able to track each other to a degree. And it feels as though the ones that are doing more of the tracking at the moment are the masculine towards the feminine. And I feel as though she knows that, and that's why her claws are coming out. It's as though this card, she has claws. It's as though the claws are coming out. I'm being shown the rose bush, and the rose, which is her, but the rose has thorns, and the thorns are there you can't come towards me until you're at my level, basically, until you're at my level. And that's not from an egotistical perspective, it's just purely frequency, because the twin flame path is about frequency. And at the moment, there's a mismatch here between the two. So Mars-Pluto conjunction on Valentine's Day is bringing a gift to the divine masculine, showing him what he cannot have until he's upped his game. Okay, let's pull a card for the connection between these two. At the moment, I'm going to stick with the dark mirror card, and then we'll go to another deck. Okay, so the state of the twin flame connection at this time, please. State of the twin flame connection at this time. Hiding your true self. Hiding your true self. It's got two people with their backs to each other, but the optimistic thing about it is they're dressed in orange. And orange is the colour of enlightenment. Think about Buddhist monks who dress in orange. So both are dressed in orange. And it's as though they're in the same space, but they're not seeing each other. It's as though they're not seeing each other. But I'm talking here about truly seeing somebody. You can be right in front of somebody and still not properly see them. They're not seeing each other. They're hiding their true self. But both of these people in this card have got their hands to the heart. So there is a protectiveness energy coming into the heart space. Now, I'm just looking around because I wanted to show you a picture from my own Metatron deck that is linked into this. Hold on. Don't know what I've done with my... I've usually got one accessible. But anyway, those of you that have got the Metatron deck, there's a card in here called Evolution. And I was looking at it this morning, actually. I was just pulling some cards and I realised that this card is linked into this message. So this is the card. So we've got state of the connection between the two, both parties holding their heart because it feels sore, it feels as though it needs soothing, it's tender, it's vulnerable. This is the card from the Metatron deck. It shows a baby, but this is rebirth. Remember Pluto, rebirth, Anubis, rebirth, god of the underworld. There is a new energy gestating within each heart. In fact, there is a new energy gestating within the collective twin flame heart as well. And this baby here, it's also got the masculine and the feminine sign within the womb. I think when Jane painted it, I always just assumed, the baby's there in the womb. But looking at it today, I can see that it's in a heart. It's actually in a heart. So it's as though there is an evolution within the heart space of each counterpart at this time to birth something new. Not necessarily a baby, but just to birth something new, to evolve. Because right now, this is like, it's just standstill. I was going to say checkmate, but that means the game's over, and the game is not over. Okay. Card of transformation from light to dark. These energies have to be brought forth. And maybe also linking in just now to the divine masculine energy with this anger that's coming up. I won't cry for you, I don't want you, I don't even like you, all this type of stuff. Let me just link into that. It's as though that has to come out. You see, this heart that they're feeling is dark with the divine feminine. And it may very well be because, I don't know, she's closed herself off from him. She's ghosted him. She doesn't want to know him. She's blocked him, whatever. She is not in his life anymore. It's as though you've got a cold heart. It's like, why did you exclude me? But it's not her heart that's cold, it's his. It's projection, basically. It's complete projection. But going back to why it has to come out now, it feels as though for the divine masculine to properly be able to really step into his role as the divine masculine, which is nothing to do with patriarchy. It's nothing to do with the old template of masculinity where I owned you and you will do as I say. And actually going back, 100 years, 200 years still happens, of course, sadly, in some parts of the world. You're my chattel, you're my woman and you will sleep with me. You will do this, you will do that, you will obey. All of that has to come up, has to be purged from the masculine's heart. And so for some of them, it is them, but it's also as though they're releasing the collective energy here as well. It feels as though I was actually watching something last night. It was actually on somebody who was somebody who was trying to lose weight. It was a man and a woman, and the man was huge. He was like 600 pounds plus, and he went on this journey. He had his stomach stapled and all of that, and he'd always been quite sweet. And they had a good relationship. They'd been together 10 or 11 years. And then after he had his surgery, he'd been doing really well. He'd been losing all the weight. And then this other side of him came out. And he was really angry. And he was started to get physically abusive with her and verbally abusive. And they were on the verge of splitting up. And then, of course, sat down with a counsellor, psychiatrist, and it all came up. It was all his wounding, and fortunately it had a happy ending and he was able to get himself back on track and they were happy again, because he tended to this heart of darkness that was within him that had been disguised by the food, the alcohol, whatever it was, where he, as the masculine had just been masking, covering up. I'm okay, but I'm only okay because I'm not feeling it. I'm just pushing it down. I'm numbing it. I don't want to look at what's there because what's there is too painful and I know I really want it. So I'm just going to keep drinking, or I'm going to keep eating, or I'm going to keep distracting myself in any other way. It feels as though the feminine is further on her path in terms of dealing with those issues and being more comfortable in her own skin. So this has to come up. But yeah, I also feel as though there are some parts of the masculine where they're behaving out of character. And yes, some of it is their stuff, but I also feel they're taking on a bit of the collective energy. I mean, that would make sense to me because I believe the twin flame path is one where we're meant to be leading the way in terms of the divine feminine template and the divine masculine template. So it feels as though almost like at soul level, the twin flame collective have put their hand up and said, okay, I'll do that. I'll put my hand up and take a bit of that swampy mess, which is there in the divine masculine template of old, and try to purge that and allow it to come through my body and out. Because the thing is, when an energy is in the physical world, it has to leave via the physical world. Does that make sense? So, and this is sometimes where healing. This is an aspect of healing, basically, that something that has been created by the physical has to leave by the physical. So it's as though some of these divine masculine men are stepping forward and saying, I can see that's toxic. I can see that has to go for the sake of all men on this planet. I'm going to take a bit of that on and help out my brother, basically, help out my brothers. But I'm doing it for them, but I'm also doing it for myself, because it gets me towards my end goal, which is reunification with the feminine. And I'm sure women do this as well. But right now I'm feeling it more with the masculine energy. Okay? Right, let's pull a few more cards. I think at this point, let's just pull a couple of tarot cards, actually. And I'm going to go to a very direct deck, which is the Field Tarot. And it's very clear, it's very concise, it's very simple. It's just one I feel like we need at the moment. So let's just shuffle and see what we get. Now, as it is Valentine's Day, and I did say this was going to be an alternative Valentine's Day message. So well done. If you were expecting the chocolates and the balloons and the fluffy teddies from me, sorry. I just have to go with where the energy is. We've got the Fool. The Fool's just leapt out with strength. Okay, so straight away, there's Spirit just saying, you know, fear not, have strength. There's reason for these messages, which is that we can't get to the new start. We can't get to the new start, which is the Fool, the completion of the whole cycle with strength until we've dealt with this stuff. We've dealt with the underbelly. So the Fool and the Strength card did just leap out, which is really nice. And I feel as though that is for the connection onto a whole new cycle. And it's coming in very strongly this Valentine's Day with this conjunction. Okay, right. Let's have a couple of messages then. Let's start with a message from the divine masculine to the feminine. So let's just soften it all up with a spray as well. Let's bring in, I'm going to bring in Archangel Zadkiel, and this is forgiveness and transmutation. It's the purple ray, because ultimately the person who needs to be forgiven, the divine masculine has to forgive himself as well. I feel there's an energy of forgiveness needed. So let's just bring in this purple ray, transmutation, transformation, Archangel Zadkiel, lavender, very strong lavender smell. Yeah, it's as though I'm being given lavender this year rather than roses, is what it feels like, to the Twin Flame Collective. Lavender. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When you are king, dilly dilly, I will be queen. Yes, that came forward in my one of my royal videos last week. Lavender, Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When you are queen, dilly dilly, I will be king. Whichever way it goes. When you are king, dilly dilly, I will be queen. King and queen, it's the end, in terms of your connection, you're king. Whether you're a queen and you're waiting for your king or vice versa. Sovereignty, basically. Right. Divine Masculine, let's get to it. What's his message to the Divine Feminine this Valentine's Day? Justice. We have justice, which is balancing the scales. So he's balancing the scales, and we have the Three of Coins, and we have the Queen of Coins. I am working on balancing something in my life. I'm working on it. There's also something here linked into the material world and money. We've also got the Two of Swords. The Divine Masculine feels as though he's at a crossroads. This could even be legal decision for people who are in third-party type situations. There might be some sort of separation or divorce happening in the background that you may or may not know. Or it could just be a balancing of the scales happening in some other way. But definitely it feels a very active energy. It's not passive. It's not just sitting back. It's trying to... It's as though he's saying, I'm doing something. I'm trying to address the balance. I'm working on balance. And I'm at a crossroads. And the Queen of Coins, would be you, if you're a feminine watching this, it's as though he knows that you are the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles. And she's dressed head to foot in green. One more card for that. One other message, please, for Valentine's Day. How are you feeling about your Divine Feminine? Because again, it feels quite, although he's working on it, he's balancing things out, there's not much emotion here. It's quite cold. Yeah, and it still is. It's the Eight of Coins, working on something. This is all about money and material goods, the material world, but it's as though it's being done for a reason. Two of Coins on the bottom of the deck. So we've got the Two of Swords and the Two of Coins. What we don't have is the Two of Cups. So there's a lot of mental thoughts going out towards his queen. There's a lot of practical moving things, around, as it were, sorting things out. But doesn't feel like he's very much in his heart space. He's in his head space. He's in his head space. Because to be perfectly honest, if he was in his heart space, we wouldn't have had all of this flung earlier. He's not in his heart space. Maybe that's why the Mars conjunction with Pluto has to come in on Valentine's Day. It's like, yeah, let me ask, what is the impact of the Mars? Well, that one just fell out. I didn't even say the question. I was going to say, what is the impact of Mars-Pluto conjunction on Valentine's Day for the Divine Masculine? And the Magician flew out before I could even do anything. Okay, so the Magician, reminding him that he's the Magician, that he can turn it around. Okay. Let's see, what would the Divine Feminine say to the Divine Masculine at this time? Makes sense now why she is in a more protective type energy, protecting herself, protecting her body, because she knows he's in his headspace. So she's not going to be freely giving her heart at this time. Okay, Five of Coins and the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Five of Coins and the Ace of Cups. I feel left out in the cold by you. I have all this love, but I'm left out in the cold by you. That's how you're making me feel. We have the Seven of Swords and the Six of Swords. It feels as though there is trickery afoot. I think she knows that the way he's behaving at this time is not really who he is. Seven of Swords is the cards of deceit. It's like you're deceiving yourself because I know you love me. And you know you love me, really, but you're just pretending you don't. It's that type of dance that's happening. And the Six of Swords is saying, move away from that energy. Move away from that self-sabotage, self-destruction self-destruction type energy, which is harming the whole connection. But the person it's harming the most is you, because I'm okay. I'm the Queen of Cups, and I've got the Nine of Wands, which is defensive. You know, well, not defensive. That's not the right word. Protective. I'm protected. I'm the Queen of Cups. And the Lovers also is there. So the Lovers is saying, and you will always keep having to come back to the choice, the Lovers. And we have the Knight of Cups as well. So, and then we've got the Eight of Swords, and then we've got the Moon, and we've got the Six of Coins. Okay, I could just keep going on, and Six of Wands. I'll stop there. So just continuing this voice for the Divine Feminine. So it's like, I'm the Queen of Cups. I'm protected as the Queen of Cups. You are always going to have the choice, because I'm not walking away anywhere. You can't ever get away from me, even if you wanted to, because twin flames will always come back to each other. So the Lovers, the choice of that is never going away. Ultimately, Knight of Cups is what you will return to. If you can move away from the Eight of Swords, which is you feel as though you're trapped, but you're really not, because it's in your head, and you're being confused by the Moon energy, all the smoke and mirrors and veils. Six of Coins, balance it out, get the balance back. And the Six of Wands, victory, you will do it. So it's a really, really interesting reading today, because it's definitely not lovey-dovey at all. It's as though the Divine Feminine feels fine where she is. The Divine Masculine feels as though they're in a bit of a mess, but are being reminded that they can turn it round and sort it out. Let's pull a couple of tarot cards linked into the state of the actual connection between these two. So when I asked that before, we had hiding your true self. Let's have one other tarot card that goes with that. So state of the connection, twin flame connection at this time. The Five of Cups. Five of Cups. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Oh God, you got to keep a smile on your face. I mean, Five of Cups is just thinking about what you don't have rather than what you do still have. There's still two cups standing, and that's all you need. A cup for each other. I don't know whether you can see, but in this deck, this figure is dressed in a rainbow-coloured cloak. It reminds me of Joseph and his Technicolor dream coat. This coat has got red, green, blue, black, grey, and probably a bit of mauve in it as well. So it's like a coat of many colours this person's wearing. And even though it feels as though, remember this is a shadow reading, so it feels as though everything's lost. 3 cups are down. It's as though I've only got 2 chips to play with, you know, if you're a betting type analogy, and they're probably going to go the same way. That's the mentality of it. It's all a bit hopeless. But yeah, he's wearing his coloured coat. And in the story of Joseph, yeah, the brothers ripped off the coloured coat, didn't they? And they fed it to a pack of wolves, and he was betrayed, and, you know, he then became imprisoned. But it all came good. He was given back an even better coloured coat at the end of the story. So, but right now it's the Five of Cups. What's on the top of the deck? King of Cups. So definitely can turn it round and can return once more to be the King of Cups. And it's almost like, phew, thank God we got there eventually. God knows how many cards I've got out here, but eventually the King of Cups shows up. But only when he's gone through this dark night of the soul type energy. And you might say, what, again? Yeah, again. But this time, it's a bit like in London at the moment, they are dredging the Thames. They're actually searching for a body. Okay, they're searching for a body. They're dredging the Thames. And they've discovered 2 bodies actually already in this water that they didn't even know were missing, which is very sad. Rest in peace to those people. Why am I telling this story? Okay, yes, because this is where we are at in our story right now. This is where we are on the path, if you're resonating with my work with twin flames. It's as though has the divine masculine before had a moment of crisis and dark night of the soul? Of course, yes. But we're getting to the real nitty gritty now. It's as though peeling off the layers of the onion, we're now getting to the very fine skin, right in the centre. And it makes your eyes water, and it's potent and it stings. But once you've got past that, you're into the sweetness, you're into the kernel. What is the kernel? The kernel is love. So this process has to happen, and it's happening as Pluto is in Aquarius, demanding that the new comes in, the new identities come in, the new paradigm comes in, the new form of expression of love comes in. There's no time anymore to be playing in these old roles. Let me pull a card from the Divine Masculine and Feminine Reunited deck. And I'm going to pull one card for the Feminine. Let's start with her. Divine Feminine. And it might show up as a masculine card, which is fine, because remember, we've got both within us. But let's just say, for the Feminine, what archetypal energy is around her? Unconditional love is around her. We have an image of two mothers with their children. One looks an older mother, might be a grandmother, the other one looks a younger mother, but they are two women. It's the energy of unconditional love is the template that the Divine Feminine is holding right now. And one of them is sitting in a rocking chair, just preoccupied with new life, with fertility, with the continuation of her journey. She's not sitting there crying, moping over anything. Oh no, nothing like that. She's in a state of unconditional love. Let's see where the Divine Masculine is. What template is around the Divine Masculine at this time, please? From this deck. What template is around the Divine Masculine at this time? Thank you. We have Jeshua coming in, Jesus, the Jesus energy, the Christ light, and it says the God of unity. I am going to read what it says, even though I know, obviously, about Jesus. I've done my own deck on him, but I'm interested what this card says about him, because, of course, Jesus is about so many different things. So what is this card about in relation to him? Let's just have a little look. It's about Christ consciousness. So right. I think this is the bit that's particularly relevant. He says, what I came to do was teach. I was not religious. That came after my death. In my time, this is Jesus talking, I was merely a spiritual teacher, quite argumentative, in fact. I loved a good paradigm-breaking debate. I was what you call an indigo in your time. I came to break down the old paradigm, just as you are doing now. The second coming was never about my soul returning. The prophesied second coming was about many people coming in one time to spread healing energy, wisdom, and tapping into Christ consciousness. So it's bringing in a template of Jesus as the rebel rouser, Jesus as the paradigm breaker. And it's exactly what I've been saying, because that's where the Divine Masculine is at. They're being asked to break paradigms, and it's a huge task. So we have the Christ-centered energy coming in to help them. And what's really lovely is that in many ways they mirror each other. So we have the Divine Feminine, who is holding the template of unconditional love, and we have the Divine Masculine, who underneath all the wounds, what is there is actually Christ consciousness, and Christ consciousness is unconditional love. Okay. I think I'm going to wind it up there, but let's just pull a final card for both of them. Do I want to use this card? These decks? Yeah, I will. This is a new deck. This is the Tree of Life Oracle by David Wells, and it has the, it refers obviously to the Tree of Life with the different serotonin, so just brings in another different theme. Let's have a look. So I'm going to ask again, let's go back to the feminine. Message for the Divine Feminine this Valentine's Day. We have the element of air. We have thoughts, mind, and communication. The green ray. So the green ray and the yellow ray coming in for the Divine Feminine on Valentine's Day. It feels very spring-like. It also feels, obviously we've got the element of air, so this is all about freedom. It feels as though there's an energy of freedom, nature, there's like elementals here, butterflies. It feels fresh, it feels new. Let me have one more card that goes with that. She's just mirroring what we've been saying earlier with regards to the Divine Masculine. We've got the card of balance, the 22nd path, justice and adjustment, karmic adjustment, balance and objectivity. Feels a bit like the Isis energy as well. Just balancing everything out. But I feel as though the message for the Divine Feminine for Valentine's Day is to balance yourself out by getting into nature as well. Okay. We've also got the middle pillar, backbone, balance, and the middle way on the bottom of the deck. So balance is the key word for the Divine Feminine on Valentine's Day. Let's have a look at Divine Masculine for Valentine's Day. Message for the Divine Masculine for Valentine's Day. Mercy, abundance, gratitude, and big ideas. I'll show you in a minute, but I just need to look at it. It's got, it's predominantly, it's a different colour rays that they're dealing with. It's purple and gold, violet and gold. And there's also a lightning bolt coming in on this card. There's an eagle overseeing. There's mountains in the backdrop. Mercy. Goes with mercy. The Emperor. And on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Tower. Yeah. So definitely this Mars-Pluto conjunction for the Divine Masculine is bringing a Tower moment. The dragons, the serpents are circling around this tower, bringing it down, old paradigms, old structures, whatever is within that mummified energy, which is dark, has to be released. And rather than, not that Divine Feminine would do this, but rather than having that unpleasant energy thrown at her and her throwing it back, there is a need for mercy, because actually this is really just about getting the Emperor balanced again. The Emperor balanced, law and order, authority, leadership, initiative. It's as though that Emperor after this is sitting in Aries season. Aries season. By Aries season, it feels as though the Divine Masculine is in a more secure and comfortable place. But the next couple of months, when is Aries season? April, isn't it? There's a couple of months of quite tricky energy for the masculine to get through. And that's probably mirrored by what's going on in our wider world with regards to out of control patriarchal energy that's doing this, that's doing that, that's everywhere. So it feels more balanced by the time we get into April, May, Easter time. When is Easter this year? I think it's the end of March. So that would be Aries season. By the time we get into Easter, things are looking a little bit more balanced. Okay, let's have a card for the connection from this deck as well. Final card. I'm a bit nervous now to pull it. Final card for now, anyway. Oh no, that's nice. We have beauty. I can't pronounce the Seratoph. Tippereth, beauty, balance, sacrifice, and joy. It has a baby, it has a lion, it has a white horse, it has an eagle, it has sunflowers, it's the golden ray. what is occurring now in your connection has to happen for the beauty to come back. And it feels as though around Easter time, after all this tumultuous energy has arisen, it's come up, it's been healed, it's been heard, it's been acknowledged, it's been transmuted. It's as though then the beauty comes back. And that's also about seeing the beauty of each other. It does make me wonder as though whether this is what I've said is correct. These are internal forces that are coming up. They are also shared collective energies that are coming up through the physical to be purged, to be released. But I do feel as well as though there is another energy in town which is coming in to sabotage the connection. And let me just pull on that. Let me go to another deck. You know, I'm talking really here like a sort of psychic attack type energy. We've got the sun again, just popped out. So the sun with beauty is saying it will all be okay. Don't worry about it. I mean, can those cards get any brighter and happier and more optimistic and more hopeful? Not really. Okay. Very different from the cards we started with and the energies we've been talking about. The sun will come back out. The sun will come out tomorrow. All of that type energy. Okay. Sunflowers everywhere. But it's like a devil energy. Am I right? There's also been another energy interfering, or just, I might be wrong. Let me just see. Is there another energy that's been affecting? Because that, I've never seen the divine. I know I asked to look at the shadow wounds. Maybe that's just what it is. But it's like that divine masculine wound is really antsy. It's really, you know, not particularly pleasant. And if you've got anger arising within you, deal with it yourself. Don't take it out on somebody else. Channel it somehow. We've got the Six of Swords, the Moon and the High Priestess. Yeah, you see, I don't like that combination, the Moon and the High Priestess, especially with the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm right in what I'm saying. We haven't got the Devil card. We have got the Nine of Swords. We haven't got the Devil card, but I feel as though there's like a devilish energy that's come in. The Six of Swords has moved the connection away from each other. It's very veiled. It's very hidden. The Moon and the High Priestess, very secretive. Something's been working on that to bring up the nightmares. Or another way of reading it, of course, is that it's just the shadow. The High Priestess and the Moon is the bit you really didn't want to look at about yourself. That actually there's a part of, you know, there's a very thin line sometimes between love and hate. That's the truth of it. And for some connections, particularly ones that have been apart for a long time, the frustration and the sense of, you know, why has this not happened? It can tip over into a negative emotion. But there's death here. Oh, followed by love. I love that. Death followed by love. It's just shadow energies. We shouldn't, you know, don't get too worried about the messages in this video. It's shadow energies. And we needed to look at it. We needed to look at it to acknowledge what was there. The sort of, I can't stand you. I don't want to know you. I never want to hear from you again, is actually disguising, I can't live without you. I do want to talk to you, etc. But that's not a promise, of course, that it's going to happen this week, this month, or even this year. And indeed, if you followed my other twin flame videos, you'll know that I believe that sometimes I don't believe people are even destined to come back into union with each other. It is a process of self-discovery and self-development. Ten of Pentacles, though, on the bottom of the deck, which is the inheritance. And it's as though no one can take away the inheritance of what you learn on this path and what you learn from each other and what you learn from this time, whether you come back into union, whether you don't, because ultimately you come back into union after death anyway. The souls will always re-find each other. So you will always get your inheritance. It's just whether it's in this lifetime. And I'm very aware that there are people that watch me that are twin flames and one partner has died. But You see, even death, bringing in that energy of death, that's part of the death process as well. Anger is part of the death process. Why did you leave me? Why the hell did you leave me? You know, it's a natural part of the grieving process. And sometimes it doesn't come up until months or years later. Well, separation can feel like death, you know? Separation can feel like death. It's not the same thing, no, but I'm just talking about the undercurrents that it can bring up. It's almost as though you are dead to me. No, you're not. You're very much alive. And that's why the bandage is coming off. Going back to that imagery of the mummy. 10010, as I said that. Okay, so I've spoken for an hour and 1 minute. And I think I will leave it there because just like the numbers on that. Okay, so that's it. Happy Valentine's Day. Do something nice for yourself, please. Whether it's eat some nice food, go somewhere nice, see a nice sunset, I don't know, dance in the rain, play some beautiful songs. Oh, but yes, that song by Lisa Minnelli is great. Even though it's about obsession, it's just a good dance song. It's one to sort of dance around the kitchen to. So, and yeah, the obsession type energy is also part of the anger. It's like, why can't I just forget you, never have to think about you again, that type of energy. But just like get it back into balance, start to remember the higher reason in terms of, well, it's because they're a part of you. Not, I believe, the same soul, but they're a part of you. You're very familiar to each other. Why would you ever want to forget, really? It's just getting the balance back. All right. Okay. Lots of love. Take care. Thank you very much for listening. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye for now. Bye.